So squats today, we got a single at RP like 7. We don't have a lot of squats left before the meet. So we have this week, next week is our opener, and then the following week is going to be kind of like a step backwards just to cut some fatigue. So one of the last real squats before the meet. So I'm going to use this kind of as a good progression, right? Because we want to progress to the opener next week. But we also want this to be a pretty good progression in general leading up to the meet. So we're going to kind of treat it how we would the last couple blocks. So we're going to do something that next week we can beat. And then kind of set it up so that way technically week 3 we could beat our single, and week 4 we could. But the week 3 is a step back to cut fatigue. At least that's how I'm going about it. Basically, we've been progressing to do 4 weeks, RP 6, 7, 8, and then 9. And then, we reset. We do different rep ranges, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now, we're going to do this a little different. We're going to do more like an RP like 7 today. 8. Next week, we're going to go back to like an RP 6. That way at the meet, we can hit our RP 8, 9, and 10 for our attempts 1, 2, and 3. So, which should be about a 20-pound jump between, give or take. And that's right about where I want to be. So, we need to make sure there's not a ton of pressure on this single today, but we definitely want to make sure we're setting ourselves up. We're not pushing too hard. But also, I don't want to not push hard enough to where the jump from this week to next week, which will be our opener, is too big of a jump. And then also, I don't want to set myself up to where, even if I get my good opener, I don't want to be too high up and too heavy to where I can't even cut the fatigue, even with the week of the taper. So a little bit of a balancing act here, but I think we're good for it. Today we're going to try like 415. Right, somewhere right around there. Maybe like 410. Why do I only hit when there's nothing on the bar? So yeah, 415. We'll open with like right around 440, probably 435, 445, give or take, but we'll say 440. It kind of depends on how well this moves. But the way that things are shaping up, looks like we're going to fall right around 480 for the meet. And I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty happy with hitting 480, 470, 480, 490. Obviously, I'd love to touch 5. But I don't know if it's there. We've had a really good prep. Hit a couple PRs, hit a double PR, matched some old PRs, some triples and 5s and stuff. But really, what I'd like to do I really like to set myself up for success on a total. So we're going to see when we get to the meet and how we feel, because that might help, make our minds up here a little bit. But the main thing is that we have to have some sort of a plan going into and assess that plan at the meet. We don't want to deviate too much. Like, I don't want to set a plan and then we get close to the meet and then all of a sudden I bail on it completely. But I do want to have a vision in my mind going into the meet. And right now, the vision is 1,300 pounds. That's what I want my total to be. And to do that, I need to hit like a 485 bench squat, 315 bench, and a 500 deadlift. So I believe those three are there. I really do. The squat is probably the most, we'll see how much is there. Because numbers like 470 are definitely there for this meet. 475, I feel confident. 480, honestly, I think that's probably where I'll land. But like 485, 490, 495, 5, that's where it kind of goes up. Like as like a, we'll see how well I can taper. Because right now, the numbers I'm hitting, my max is right at like 480, 475 to 480. And that brings me a lot of confidence because we haven't tapered yet. So the fact that we haven't yet tapered and I'm feeling like 475's there makes me think that maybe come the meet time, things could be better. But I should be able to hit a PR on all my lifts at the meet. I should hit an all-time PR in squat, an all-time PR on deadlift, and I should be able to hit a platform PR in bench. So given that all things go to plan, and you know, everything works out well and I peak appropriately and the taper week goes well, the day of the meet I feel great and the conditions are great, I should PR in all three lifts. And given that I can, I will squeak out the 1,300 pound total, but who knows? Maybe we'll get to the meet. We didn't taper well enough. Squat does not feel great. And I land at 460. Then the plan needs to change and I need to assess where I feel everywhere else, you know? Or it's always possible that squat feels amazing. I take a big jump. I take what's there, you know? But that affects other things. So to hit a 500 pound squat right now would be crazy. But I definitely am not gonna be able to hit 500 and then hit 315 on bench and then still attempt 500 on deadlift. So I gotta kind of think, you know, if I hit a heavier weight on squat, how does it affect my other lifts, right? Before I show this top set, welcome to my channel. My name is John Mahaffey. I've been powerlifting for 5 years now. I'm kind of an amateur powerlifter, coach, enthusiast, whatever you want to call it. So my main thing here is normal training. You know, I work out in my garage gym. I'm married. I have a full-time job. I have kids, so my schedule changes. Things change. I do all my own programming, which updates, you know, week to week sometimes. So a lot of that to me showcases like just what normal really is. Really wish more lifters, advanced lifters, you know, more like professional lifters, I wish they were more transparent with how their day-to-day really affected their training and life. Really wanted to be transparent when it came to my programming. If you like this stuff, subscribing to my channel helps me out a ton. Liking the video helps me out a ton. Let's get back to the workout and let's see what we can do in this top set. Anyways, so today's actually the exact same warm-up I take at the meet. The only difference is for this single, I replaced it with my very last warm-up. So I have a plan set, which makes it a lot easier when we don't have to think about it. When I can kind of look at like my phone or my computer and see, okay, this is what I'm doing. I'm taking the bar for this many reps with this equipment on, a plate with this, 2 plates, 3 plates, 3.5, 4, whatever. And I have it set to where at this many plates, I should have my shoes on. At this many plates, I should have a belt on. At this many plates, I should have my sleeves on. How many reps am I doing? How much time am I having between for rest time? So the only thing I replaced it with is my last warm-up's gonna be 4:05, but our single today is 4:15. So I just replaced it, but I did everything the same. That way I can kind of just go into the meet kind of mindlessly in a way. So obviously too, the whole point of the singles is to get the skill for singles, right? And I think part of that skill for singles is not only just to hit it, but it's also to be able to do it on command. On commands, I'll say. So I need to follow commands for this one. Whew. Well, I think that felt good. Single felt good. The warm-up felt good. Honestly, probably a little easier of a single than I would anticipated, or it moved easier. But pretty good. Happy with it. I'm happy with the equipment usage, how it felt. I felt like when I needed my belt was on. When I needed the sleeves came on. So we got doubles now, 365. We're gonna do a 3x2. So
Buddy, how did he get in here? Did he roll in by himself?
yeah. Okay, out of it. Come on. Let's do deadlifts. We got doubles. Mostly I like to use this as like a speed, technique, volume, whatever you want to call it. But we shouldn't go real heavy with this. We're just going to work on our cues, setting up. Doubles have been working. For one, for in general, for deadlifts. But for two, especially on this day, doubles have really been hitting the groove. So, we're going to keep doing it. Thinking back to what I said about doubles working and not changing things because they work, and something I wish I would have learned a long time ago is powerlifting, especially if it's not broke, don't fix it. If you're progressing, don't change it. And I mean that as like selection and even speed of like progression. I feel like the speed at which you progress is kind of set. You're kind of limited. Some people really just progress a lot slower. Some people really hit plateaus and make big jumps. Some people progress very quickly and then stall. Some people progress very quickly and never stop. I think it comes down to smart programming for sure, but it does come down to what works for you. And I definitely feel like I wish I would have spent a little less time with the rate of my progression. Probably a little less time with the rate of my progression. There's times where I was progressing and I didn't think I was progressing quick enough, so I changed stuff and it stopped my progression. Well, what I should have done is I'm progressing. Let's keep what we have and what we're doing until we do not progress any longer. That probably would have changed a few things. I was too caught up in how quickly I progressed and not how I was progressing or in which lifts I was progressing. And definitely there's a lot of time where it was more general of like, well, it works for my squat, so it must work for my deadlift and my bench. This is working for my bench. Let me try it with my squat. Let me try it with my deadlift. And they're all different. So you have to find like really what works for all of them individually. Where we're at in this prep right now, it's the point where I feel like I don't want to do the accessories. I want to skip them. These suck. These hurt. I don't want to complete the workouts. I'd like to go lighter on everything. Not the same, not heavier. But I'm trying to remind myself that not completing workouts right now cuts fatigue. And that'll screw up the taper.